apocalypse. Click on zombie apocalypse.
Good afternoon, MEI students who are currently taking Principles and Techniques of Audio-Visual Education, which is the MAIE IT 211 or 211. This is your course facilitator. This is Sir Kenji E. Merenciano. And today is our first meeting, and we will be having a course orientation. I will be presenting the content of our syllabus. When we say syllabus, this is your reference, or this serves as your guide. This is presented during the orientation of or the start or opening of class. Supposed to be, I prepare a course guide. However, it is not yet it was not yet refined. Hindi pa tapos siya. So in the meantime, I just present the topics for the syllabus, for this syllabus, and then the grading system, my expectations and my requirements for principles and techniques. Okay? Okay? Let me know if I'm still audible or is my voice clear po. Please confirm, class.
Yes po.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, sir.
So this time, I'm going to share the content of our syllabus. So class, please let me know if you can see what's on the screen, or is it visible to everyone?
Yes, po, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the course syllabus for IE or IT 211, which is the, or 211, which is the Principles and Techniques of Audio Visual Education. So this is offered during first sem. By the way, is it visible to everyone, or can you read the contents of this material, class?
Opo, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this course is offered during first sem. Now we are in school year 2022 to 2023, and our class schedule is 3 to 6 p.m. and that is Saturday. Okay. So this course has 3 units credit, and placements definitely are the MEI students. The type of course is lecture. Unlike in MEI TL 210, the electrical electronics technology is a combination of lecture and laboratory. Ma'am Serene, your course facilitator or the faculty in charge is Kenji E. Merenciano. That is my name. Okay. And our program advisor or the department chair is Sir Christian C. Calleja. So what is
po, sir.
what is IE 211 or the Principles and Techniques of Audiovisual Education? This course is intended not only for synchronous and asynchronous. Okay, now we are using the blended learning. We'll be having in-person or face-to-face class or interaction with a combination of synchronous and asynchronous or online modality. So this synchronous and asynchronous teaching and learning, the guiding principles and techniques in the use of different multimedia, because audiovisual education can be can also be pertained to MB, MBE. MBE class stands for Multimedia-Based Education. It also involves knowledge of the principles in the use of the senses as means of perception and subsequent learning. When we say audiovisual, it's a combination of two senses, for hearing and sight, or what we call audio and visual tools in the teaching learning process. So in other words, class, here you will dig deeper or have a thorough understanding on the proper use, or as I've said a while ago, the underlying or underpinning philosophies or principles, or we're going to trace the learning theories or principles of how a student learn using audiovisual aids and devices. For the course learning outcome, these are the expectations. These are my expectations of what will my students learn after they finish this course. First, explain the theories and principles of audio visual education. Here, you have to understand, appreciate what is audiovisual education. Okay. What are its different theories or different learning principles? Here you will encounter the self-efficacy or by Bandura. You will understand or study about the Gestalt psychology, the behaviorism and cognitivism, and its relation in studying the multimedia. Aside from that, you will apply the principles of audiovisual education in varying teaching and learning situations. Okay. Based on the principles that you've learned about audiovisual education, you will apply different, let's say, we'll be having an activity, let's say a reflection or a research about I will be asking you to do research about how students learn using this kind of tools or digital tools. It's very timely and relevant, the importance of multimedia now that we are in these challenging times because of pandemic. We as teachers, educators, innovate or devise different strategies, ways, or how to deliver our instructions to our students. I know it's a challenge, and up to this time, it's still a challenge, but still, we should be resilient. And when I say resilient, we should find innovative ways or means how to improve our instruction. Okay. And aside from applying the principles, you will utilize those learnings acquired in audiovisual education in classroom situations. The different modalities in addressing this intelligence. Here, you will study also the different types of intelligence. Okay? In a conventional or a traditional setting before, okay, we have this so-called class SAGE on the stage. SAGE on the stage. That's why it's SAGE on the stage, or these are traditional teachers. Okay. When I say traditional teachers, they think that if a student or if a Filipino speaks fluently English, meaning to say daw, 'di ba, even others, even yung mga magulang, yung ilan, sinasabi matalino ka kapag magaling ka magsalita ng English. Right? Ito yung mga perception ng mga tao before. Plus, English is a language. And English does not define or it does not measures intelligence. But it can be considered as an intelligence as far as communication is concerned. So in the theory of multiple intelligence, ang talino ng tao, ang skills or ang kaalaman niya, hindi lang nababase sa isang aspeto lang. Diba? Sabi daw, ma-define daw yung intelligence ng isang estudyante or mag-aaral by means of grades. Diba? For me, grades are just numbers. There are certain factors na we can measure how, diba? How bright, how well you say na bright ang isang estudyante. Kasi this time, diba, holistic na yung approach natin. Even sa the program namin, kasi akala ng pag sinabing electronics technology, ang kinikater lang namin, skills. Wherein, for me, ang electronics dapat holistic ang approach. So, it does not focus on the cognitive aspect or the cognitive side. Behavior plays an important role. Okay, and the other one is the psychomotor. If you can still recall, way back when you were in college, napag-aralan nyo yung 3 domains of learning. Diba? We have the cognitive, the psychomotor or the skills, and then the behavior or the attitude or the affective domain. And the last one is demonstrate practical use of pertinent learning theories in and out of the classroom. So these are the 4 learning outcomes in the principles and techniques of audio visual education. So I will be highlighting the contents or the topics to be covered for this entire SEM. So we have an orientation about the BMGO, which stands for the vision, mission, goals, and objectives of the college. Okay. We know what is the vision of the university. We know what it's all about. When we say vision, we talk about Bicol University, a world-class university producing leaders in change agents for social transformation and development. That's the vision of our institution. But how do we apply? How do we live the ideals of this vision? And as a graduate student, how are you going to apply this vision to your students and to your vocation or profession as an educator or part of the academy or simply called a teacher? Okay. So another interesting topics to be covered after the what do you call this, the BMGO is the learning style and differentiated instruction. So I'll just give you a simple overview. When we say differentiated instruction class, it is one of a teaching approach that tailors instructions to all students' learning needs. All the students have the same learning goal, but plus the instruction varies based on the students' interests, preferences, strengths, and struggles. If you're a traditional teacher, diba, yung sinabi ko dati, ang mindset niyan ng pagtuturo is purely lecture. But this time, in this 21st century, teachers, professors, faculty, these are now facilitators of knowledge. Kasi pag traditional teacher ka, you are teacher-centered. Kung anong sinabi ko, yun dapat ang masusunod. Okay? Okay, class, open your book to page 23. Read chapters like this. After reading, let's proceed with a short quiz or exam. That is a traditional point of view of an early type of teacher. But this time, it is more interactive, problem-based. It's the main characteristic of setting now sa classroom is student-centered and holistic or well-rounded yung approach. Not just developing skills, but also developing the totality of the learner. Okay? When I say totality, the domains. So, ito yung isa sa mga topics na pag-aaralan natin. So, actually, hindi pa to polish na aking syllabus kasi based on the memo, since sinabi ko na na blended learning tayo, ang mangyayari, there will be instances na pupunta tayo ng school to have an activity, an assessment, or let's say examination, but still subject, okay, for the consensus of the students. Kasi ayoko din kasi isipin na I'm also worried din sa mga sa severe effect or yung scheduling ng students. Halimbawa, online kay Sir Juneda, let's say sa research, tapos sa akin instead na doon lang sa bahay or sa isang area, you don't need to go to what do you call this, to sa aking classroom para mag face to face. Okay? Kasi imagine nyo yung yung schedule natin is 3 to 6. That's why ako nakadepende sa mga previous professor ninyo or previous courses ninyo if magko-conduct tayo. If we're going to if we'll be having a face to face or in person class, I'll have to inform you at least 1 week or 3 days or 4 days before mag-meet tayo. Okay. Sige. So, ito yung ating assessment. So, we were guided. So, here, for this topic, you will be, gagawa kayo ng reaction paper. Okay, about the different learning styles and instruction that you apply in your field of profession. Another interesting topic is about visual design. Ano ba tong visual design? When we say visual design, it focuses on the aesthetics. Kasi ito yung nausong term ngayon sa mga millennial eh. Kasi nung time pag sinabi yung the way you dress, the way you groom yourself, ang tawag diyan sa mga 70s or 80s na batch, spooting. Diba? Yung pantalon mo, naka-spooting ka nga niya. Around 80s or 90s ata, nauso yung term na Japorms. Diba? Paano yun pumoporma yung lalaki, yung estudyante, yung babae in terms of their dress. But this time, in this present age, ang term na pala is aesthetics. But in the context of visual design, it pertains to the aesthetics naman siya of a site and its related materials. By strategically implementing images, colors, fonts, and other elements. A successful visual design does not take away from the content on the page or function. Instead, it enhances by engaging users and helping to build trust and interest in the brand. When you say visual design, we will be studying about images, colors, line, shape, fonts, and other elements para at least mapag-aralan nyo kung ang ginagawa nyong PowerPoint or material is will help enhance the learnings of the student. Okay? Sige. Another topic that we will tackle or study is about multiple intelligence. Ito yung kay Howard Gardner. Napag-aralan ko din to sa EF. And when we say Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence, kasi di ba pag sinabi nating katalinuhan or intelligence, we're talking about the concept of IQ or the intelligence quotient. That's siguro that's the first thing that comes into your mind. And intelligence is often defined as our intellectual potential. So that is something we are born with, something that can be measured, in a capacity that's difficult to change. Here, we're going to dig deeper. Ano ba yung mga iba't ibang klase ng intelligence according to Gardner? So, as far as I remember, we have visual, spatial, linguistic, interpersonal, logical, musical. So, ito yung mga iba-ibang klase ng tinatawag nating multiple intelligence. So, ito yung aking assessment na gagawin ninyo. Aside from reaction, you will be preparing a reflection. Okay? Or yeah, reflection paper about what will be the learning styles that can I apply to using the the diversity of the students as far as their intelligence is concerned. Okay? After the multiple intelligences, another topic is about behaviorism and cognitivism. I think you encountered this in your foundation, but here pag-aaralan natin siya in the context of um, principles and techniques in audiovisual or audiovisual education. Kasi if you can still remember, class, behaviorism is a theory of learning. It is based on the idea that all behaviors are acquired through conditioning. Siguro na-encounter nyo na dito si B.F. Skinner. Yung classical, yung operant conditioning, theories about rewards and punishment. Out of these theories, paano siya inadapt sa classroom? Paano siya ginagamit natin as strategies and letting our students learn or reinforce learning sa ating mga estudyante. Okay? So aside from that, pag-aaralan din natin yung Gestalt theory and principles. Okay? Pag sinabi naman natin class Gestalt theory or principle. By the way, yun ang behaviorism pala. It talks about behavior. On the word behaviorism, how behavior affects the learning of the student. But in the context of cognitivism naman, it is also a learning theory that focuses on how information is received, organized, stored, and retrieved by the mind. Pag behaviorism, behavior. Pag cognitivism, these are mind. These are how we process information. Wherein it uses mind as an information processor. Just like a computer. The computer, we have the central processing unit known as microprocessor. So therefore, cognitivism looks beyond observable behavior, viewing learning as an internal, not an external. Because behaviorism is behavior or the external factor, but in the case of cognitivism, it's an internal mental processes. So pag-aralan natin dito how learners are actively involved in the way they process the information or knowledge. So knowledge, memory, thinking, and problem solving are areas for development. So ito yung coverage ng cognitivism. Okay? Pagdating naman natin sa Gestalt psychology, parang it talks about structuralism, or the root word is structure. Kasi Gestalt psychology believe that structuralism is the breaking down of psychological matters into their smallest possible parts. Parang the totality of the mind, it sums up the totality of the mind and behavior. Ang pasensya na, medyo may pagkamalalim yung mga terms kasi ako kasi is a graduate of PhD and we are studying about educational foundations. And sa educational foundations, pinag-aaralan namin yung learning patterns, yung behavior ng estudyante kung paano sila natuto. And one of the principle under Gestalt psychology class is holism. When I say holism, ang perception was based on seeing things as a complete whole, not a separate component. Kasi ang Gestalt kasi is a German term. Pag sinabing Gestalt, parang it's the total or the totality. The sum parts of the whole. Yan ang kuha niya. Ang meaning ng Gestalt psychology. So later, I'm just giving you the gist or the important details or mga terms sa pag-aaralan natin sa principles and techniques. And after knowing the theories, the principles, pag-aaralan naman natin yung e-learning. Okay? I think you heard of this, lalong-lalo na nung nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic. Kung ano ba ang e-learning. Okay? Ang e-learning class is from the term electronic learning. Meaning to say, it is the delivery of learning and training through digital resources. It is based on a formalized learning. It is provided through electronic devices such as computers, tablets, and even mobile phones that are connected to the internet. What we're doing now at present class is an example of e-learning. Meaning to say, through e-learning, it makes it easy for us users to learn anytime and anywhere. So, meaning to say, you are learning at your own pace, at your own time. That's why yung modality is synchronous and asynchronous. So, basically, e-learning is training, learning, or education delivered online through a computer or any other form of digital device. So, yan ang highlight ng ating isa sa mga topic sa ating principles and techniques. Okay? So, another material na pag-aralan natin is also multimedia. I know you heard this already. Diba? Media means to broadcast or to send information. But here, multimedia is a form of communication that combines different content. Content forms such as text, audio, images, animations, or video. Pag-aralan natin, ano ba iba't ibang klase ng multimedia? And paano ba to gamitin? Ano ba yung mga good side or pitfalls or the negative impact of using the media or technology? Multimedia can be recorded for playback on computers, laptops, smartphones, and other electronic devices. So yun ang mga itatakel or these are mga pwede nyong i-anticipate na mga topics. Yung mga first part talks about the theories, the principles of how students learn based on this behaviorism, cognitivism, gestalt. Now, pag-aralan naman natin ang paggamit ng technology. Diba? Part of the 21st century skills is the digital literacy or how to use multimedia responsibly. Okay? Sige, ano pa yung next? The other topics are principles of work examples. Isa siya sa mga interesting topics na pag-aaralan and how these practice principles and collaborative virtual learning is ina-apply natin sa pagtuturo ating klase. Okay. And another one is the thinking principles through games and simulations and learner control. And the last two remaining the last topics are about the different applications or educational apps or digital resources na ginagamit natin sa pagtuturo. So the goal or for this topic is to develop insights on new audiovisual technologies and how we're going to use them. So these are the topics. If I'm going to recall, we will start from course, what we're do after the orientation, an introduction about the BMGO, learning styles and differentiated instruction, multiple intelligence, behaviorism and cognitivism, gestalt, e-learning, multimedia, principles of work examples, learner control, and the last one is about educational applications including the mobile apps. So that's the coverage for our learning content in MAIE IT 211 course. Okay? So for the requirements, we have midterm and final. So ang modality of submission natin pwedeng online or offline. So still pag-usapan pa rin natin Ang exam natin is scheduled 13 to 15. That's the midterm. Based on our school calendar. And December 15 to 17 naman yung finals. And expected end of class natin is December 17. Okay? Mga requirements ko po, reflection or reaction paper based on the topics covered, presentation critiquing, yung isa sa mga requirement ko, individual report, worksheets, ito kasi yung luma yung worksheet sa module. This was adapted during the pandemic. And we have also the discussion forum. That's why, as I've mentioned last night, the Google Classroom will be our official learning platform. Though may face-to-face na tayo, doon po kayo magsusubmit ng inyong mga outputs. It could be your learning tasks, exercises, activities sa klase natin. I'll be asking you to do research. This is part of training you how to prepare your own material and yung output ninyo if this could be a potential research or topic for research. Okay? And portfolio. So ito yung ating mga gagawin or requirements ninyo sa aking principles and techniques na course. So again, I would like to highlight or emphasize the way on how Sir Kenji will compute your grade. So we have the midterm and tentative. Midterm is 30%. Tentative is 70%. So for the midterm, ito yung aking criteria. We have the individual presentation, written oral term exam, reflection or reaction paper. For tentative, I'll be asking for a portfolio, exam, and research proposal. So both of them, total is 100%. So ito yung aking, kasi I remember last second sem, when I received my teaching effectiveness or evaluation or feedback from the students, one is asking na I should provide daw the grading system or the mechanics or the rubrics. Well, in fact, in-inform ko na nga, I always do this practice na during the orientation, aside from presenting the topics, pinapakita ko din kung paano ako nag-grade. And it is supported by a rubrics. It's supported by the criteria or the way of how I assess my students sa course na to. Okay? So, ito yung ating references. Hello? Hello, am I still audible? Wala ata. Please confirm. Okay. Sige. Saan na tayo? So, these are the references na pwede. Don't worry, nakapost na po ito sa ating Google Classroom. Pwede nyo itong basahin and pag-aralan. Okay. So, let's proceed to the next. Ito yung ating mga, you can consider these references sa ating course. Okay. So, I think that's it. Last, do you have a questions or clarifications about the syllabus that I presented? May clarification ba kayo or may tanong po ba kayo? Class, are you still with me?
None, sir.
Mm-hmm. How about the
None,
others?
sir.
How about the others? Okay, sige. So, I think that's it muna. We will end muna our presentation of the course syllabus. And may I know your consensus po? Is it okay po ba sa atin if we can meet on, have a face-to-face for our activity, at the same time presentation about the topic next Saturday?
Yes.
Yes po, sir.
Yes po, sir.
How about you, Sir Magno?
Go po, sir.
Kasi, I know, Bas, we're longing na magkaroon ng face-to-face. Even most of the faculty in Busit and the masters, para at least mas ma-facilitate natin yung learning at saka mas at least makilala ko din kayo and para at least clear yung presentation ng topic, and if my questions and kasi may activity ako gagawin next meeting eh. So, in the meantime po, you already part ng ating classroom. Sagutan na lang po yung mga preliminary requirements. Yung iba po naayos ko na. Meron doon about quadrant. Yung quadrant po is intended for newcomers or new student. Yung synchronography naman po is for returning student. Like you guys na andito ngayon. Okay? And then, yung isa ko pong requirement about the teaching credo. I want to know your when you say credo, this pertains to a dogma or doctrine or principle na pasimplin lang natin. Your principle about teaching or anything about related sa education or teaching, or it could be a quotation, it could be a saying na pinanghahawakan ninyo or something na parang guide ninyo. That's what or reason why are you teaching, why you love teaching, and why are you passionate about it. Intindihan po ba? Ibasa na lang po yung instruction natin sa Google Classroom. Is that clear, class?
Okay po, sir. Opo.
Thank you so much. So,
Yes, sir.
are there any questions or clarifications before we end? Pag na po mahiya, may tanong po ba or may i-open na ba? Do you have something to share or to react? Class?
Ako po, sir, meron.
Sige po, sir. Ano po yun?
Opo. Kasi po, syempre, bago ako mag-enroll sa subject, nag-survey muna ako. Si
Mhm.
Sir Janelle po ay tapos na nitong, itong subject. Ang sabi niya po sa akin, gagawa daw ng parang material
Mhm.
for, parang siya yung final na output. Like for
Mhm.
example, learning material, pwede kang gumawa ng website, something like that, na yun nga po, parang sa audiovisual technology, digital
Mhm.
material. Ganun po ba yung magiging final din po doon sa research proposal?
Okay. Yung pinagawa ko kila Sir Junel, that was second sem siguro. That is intended for production. Take note ha, yung course na tinitik nyo ngayon is Principles and Techniques. Right? Hindi pa naman kayo gagawa ng what do you call this, ng material or device or let's say or an app. Kasi pag-aaral muna natin. Kumbaga kung ang principles kasi para maintindihan is your theory. Your roots sa audiovisual. Ang production po is application. Sir Magno. Yung sinasabi mong mga learning materials, IEC, yung mga apps, yung mga devices, yun po ang pinag-aaralan natin sa production. Kasi tama ba, Miss Kalia? I think you made a workbook.
Opo, sir.
Kasi si Miss Kalia, nauna na inuna niya kasi yung production. Kasi dapat i-take mo muna yung principles and techniques. Nakuha mo, Sir Magno? Hindi pa
Yes,
naman.
Sir,
Apo. Ang requirement nyo kasi is parang gagawa kayo ng learning journal using the digital tools. You will be making an e-portfolio. Halimbawa, yung mga parang sort of a blog, sort of a learning journal na your mga learning experiences ninyo. Parang sa isang website, example, you can use Wix, Wix is a free website na pwede nyo ilagay doon yung mga topics ninyo or material. anything that is related to teaching or education. Okay. Or you can use WordPress. So gagamit kayo ng mga digital tools kasi we're talking about audiovisual aids and devices. So ngayon medyo light pa yung requirement. Hindi pa totally kayo gagawa talaga ng output. Kasi ang principles is more on the theories. Okay? Yung mga ground-based theory siya. Kaya baga may nabasa kayo, may narinig kayo, may nabasa kayong behaviorism, cognitivism. I-research nyo yan. Papag-aralan nyo lang. Hindi lang alam yung definition but you have to dig deeper on that. Okay? Samantalang ang production of audiovisual aids and devices which is offered during second sem, medyo mahirap. Kasi application of what you've learned in the principles and techniques. Is it clear now po, Sir Magno?
Yes, sir. Crystal clear po.
Okay, thank you. How about the others?
Yes po, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes po, sir.
Do you have any reaction, comment, clarification? Okay. Hearing none, I assume that I think it's clear now to everybody. Sabi ni Sir Magno, crystal clear na daw. So, before we end our meeting, can we ask for our first meeting and our first photo ops? And also my evidence that I conducted an online class or synchronous meeting. Can you please turn on their camera? Sige. Miss Volante and Sir Mika. Yung sa akin kasi naka-on na po. Mamaya makikita nyo sa video. So, sige. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay. Thank you, class. Thank you for your time. Ma'am, Sir Mika, kamusta si tita mo? Okay na?
Okay na po, sir.
Naka-recover na?
Opo, nakakalakad na din po kahit pa.
Yung nauna, kami ba? Kami ba o kayo? Nakalabas sa hospital last time. Ating kami ata eh.
Kayo
Diba?
po ata, sir.
Okay. And by the way, I have a special announcement. Let me congratulate Miss Jemiline Elieha. She is now, I'm sorry. Gender na naman tayo. She is now regular faculty na sa aming. She is now a member ng Busit faculty under the BID department. Ma'am, congratulations po.
Sir, salamat po. Salamat po. Thank you.
Okay. Sige. So, class, see you next meeting na lang po. In person po tayo ha. Face to face tayo next meeting. So, thank you for your time. And before we leave pala, I forgot the attendance. Send ko sa ating Gmeet. Ay, dito. Nakikita po ba?
Opo, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes po, sir.
please let me know if na-access nyo siya before ako mag-exit. Kasi pag nag-exit ako, hindi ito ma-access. Okay na po ba, class?
Done
Okay.
po.
Okay, thank you.
Yes po, done po.
Okay po. Goodbye and keep safe po everyone. Okay, bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Bye
Thank you,
po.
sir.
Thank you. Okay, class, that's how we end our first meeting wherein we had a course orientation. I was able to present the topics to be covered throughout this entire SEM, including the mode of assessment and then the expected outputs. And I also presented to you for transparency, for what will be my grade, what will be the grading system. Okay, the grading system and what are the criteria. So now Sir Kenji will provide you a fair rating for this IT or IE 211 course. So thanks for your time, especially for those students who attended our first meeting. And don't forget that next Saturday we'll be having our first in-person or face-to-face meeting. So, our room, in the meantime, is located in the multi-tech building. For those who are not familiar with our school, you can ask. We are located in EM's Barrio, Legazpi City, East Campus, Vico University. You can ask the guard to where the multi-tech building is located, or para hindi kayo mahirapan, itanong nyo lang po kung saan yung pub lab. Okay? Pagdating sa pub lab, meron doong guard din na pwede nyong kausapin kasi yung pub lab is nasa multi-tech building. And yung the multi-tech building may 3 floors yan po or 3 palapag. Kami po yung nasa taas. My classroom is located or situated at MTB 3rd floor or multi-tech building 3rd floor. And ang room po na gagamitin natin is MTB 303. Okay? If you have questions or clarifications about the lesson, about anything related sa ating course, feel free to message me. And my contact details po, andyan naman po siya sa baba. May gusto kayong itanong or para maliwanagan po tayo. So again, for the last time, thank you for listening. And what I always say, keep safe always.
Zombie apocalypse.